Yeah, welcome back. In case you don't know, this is part two of Mulbah Morlu's nation address of his December 17 protest reaction video. So we'll just continue where we left off the last time.
And 20 million US dollars more has been set aside to build county offices. Meanwhile, despite a state press release that was published calling on President Walker to withdraw senior government officials from fundraising committees, the same publicly announced officials were defiantly maintained and are now falsely claiming to be operating within the confines of the Code of Conduct.
He says something about $20 million being set aside, of course, by the government or the Unity Party from the government budget for the construction of Unity Party headquarters throughout the country. In case you did not watch the part one of this reaction video, you should definitely go on the page and check on it. You'll definitely see the part one. And we're talking about this. You know, the part one ended where I was talking about, Mr. Morlu making accusations of the government using certain amount of money to do this and do that. But again, I keep asking, where are the evidence? The government taking $20 million and putting it aside just to go, construct Unity Party headquarters throughout the country. This is a huge, huge accusation. And of course, 1000%, if this is true, we condemn it 1000%. But we cannot jump on that train of yours without evidence. If you want for us to jump on that train, show the evidence. When you're accusing that the government have, stealing or stolen, 20 million United States dollars and pull it aside just to go construct their party headquarters, that is a huge accusation, right? That is one. Secondly, just a month or two ago, CDC was doing their groundbreaking of their new headquarters. You never make any statement like this about that. And there were government officials that were there. They're not cabinet ministers, but there were lawmakers. There were other prominent government officials like senators, that were there that participated in that groundbreaking, right? But there were no backlash or, statement like what you are making right now. And I understand you say, oh, the government is not the responsibility of the CDC party right now, but there are people from the CDC party that are prominent member of the government. So again, I pay attention to people. I listen to people more when they are neutral, when they talk so and talk so. Now it's just completely one-sided. And if you're one-sided too, it's understandable, fine. Everybody can be the same. But if you are giving information, give me evidence. Without evidence or without reason, I can't just because I don't like somebody, or just because I have a problem with somebody, it means that anything you tell me about that person, I'm gonna just believe it. Nah, that's not how it works. At least not in my book. But again, we continue.
But the facts expose them, not just officials, but heads of lucrative financial institutions were openly handpicked to lead the party's fundraising committees at different areas in different countries. In fact, a leaked 180,000 US dollars Central Bank of Liberia check routed through government agencies to finance this project confirms the West fears that this is public money being laundered through a partisan pipeline. Fellow Liberians, let's call this what it is: an abuse of office, theft of taxpayer funds, and a deliberate attempt to strengthen one political party at the expense of the people. This is why Liberians acted with prudence by staying far away from the failed December 6th event. This was not a celebration, it was a mockery. A mockery of those who go to bed hungry, of mothers dying in hospitals without medicine, of children struggling in broken schools. It is a mockery of a nation in pain. hence the deeper anger, if not the deeper danger. A government bold enough to steal openly is a government preparing to manipulate the 2029 elections. The signs are out there. Intimidation of opposition leaders.
Right there again. So many accusations, and also saying that the government is trying to prepare themselves for the 2029 election. That is something that you can accuse every Liberian political party or political group or political leader of, including yourself, Mr. Morlu. You know, each and every one of you are always in campaign mode, which I don't agree with. I've always talked about that. Most of the time, Liberian leaders, they are always in campaign mode. Always in campaign mode, right? And just because the other one is doing it doesn't mean that, yeah, I'm supporting these guys to do the same thing. I'm saying that when the people elect you to be the leader of the country, you should focus more on leading the country instead of you worrying too much about, your re-election. You know what I mean? So yeah, I understand that 100%. But when you are saying that, 180,000 United States dollars check was, how do you call it, discovered to have been rerouted through from the Central Bank of Liberia to be used again for the same, how do you call it, program here, the fundraising for, how do you call it, for the Unity Party new headquarters throughout the country. These are huge accusations. You are being very, very specific. Where are the evidence? Or show us the directions to the evidence, right? You are making these statements. We are not seeing it anywhere in any news. Nobody is backing it up. There is no thorough investigation, with, clear evidence with documentation that proving that, a certain amount of money was transferred from the Liberian government bank account to, given to the Unity Party to go, for all these things to back up all these things you're saying. There are no clear evidence. All you saying is just saying it. You're just laying the information out there and you expect people to believe it. And this is my problem. And I know a lot of Liberians will believe that, especially Liberians who are anti-UP, right? All the oppositions, they will definitely have problem with it. I mean, not all the opposition, but most of the oppositions. There might be some of them. There are some of them actually that they don't just believe anything that they hear, especially in the day that we are in today. In 2025, man, we can be acting like it's just 2005, 2006. That, my leader, anything my leader say, I'm just believe it. I don't need no evidence or whatsoever. No, those days are gone, right? The day we are living in now is evidence. When you give information, you back it up. You give us evidence. You don't give me evidence, my brother. I can't believe you. And if I don't believe you, I'm definitely not gonna go spread your information for you. I will not do that. But yeah, again, let's continue.
Selective policing and a security apparatus ready to silence dissent. Gregory Coleman's police force has already shown a willingness to use fear as a political weapon. If this isn't stopped now, the next step is predictable. Election rigging enforced through violence. Across Africa today, where elections...
All right, you talk about the police force being brutal, using police force to do, bad deeds or whatever. And he's saying that the next step is already predictable. And what is that? Is to rig the 2029 election. Man, let me tell you, the election is 4 years away, 3-4 years away. And he's already talking about, he predicting that the government will rig the election. We are far away from the election time. We elected a president, he has not even served for 50% of his term. You're already predicting that when the next election comes, he will rig it. This is what I'm saying. That's why it's hard for me to listen to Mulbah Morlu when you make it, some of those addresses. Because he say things that are like no evidence, no backing whatsoever. He just say things that will just, be polarizing in the news. 100%. And God forbid, if that was to be the case, that the government tried to, rig the election, it would not be hiding. People will know about it. The international community will call it out. That's why we have international observers, People come from all around the world during the election to observe. And if they see any type of irregularity, they will report it. And people will know that, yes, this president, actually rigged the election to be president, right? So, and if, God forbid again, like I said, if that is the case, we'll definitely address that matter. But that's not the case. That is never going to be the case. It's not going to be the case. It's not going to be the case. Regarding Gregory Coleman, I 100% agree with you. I mean, I'm not saying Gregory Coleman is out there brutalizing people, or how they call it, making selective justice or prejudicial killings, like he likes to call it. But I think Gregory Coleman policing is very, very mild, to say the least. You know, and the reason why I'm saying this is, meaning, look at what happened to this guy here, Matthew Mulbah, the young man who got killed in Congo Town, right, months ago. His case, according to the report, the news, that he was mentally ill. People then wanted to take him to the hospital to give him treatment, but he refused, and he started getting aggressive. So the people called the police to come and help, rightfully so, come and help to give the man the necessary help that he needs. The police come. The police in Liberia, they just think everything is just force. And they come, whatever happened, of course the guy is mentally ill. He started refusing to go or to comply. And they told him that. So according to the report, in the process while trying to take him out to give him the help that he needs, the guy, stabbed one of the police officers, and then, cut one of the police officers on the arm. So the third police officer pulled out a gun and shot him multiple times. Right? That was the kill. That was the case. That was the story. But recently, the Omar came out and released some videos. Somebody was on the spot that they recorded it. The most part of the incident, right? The police officer that shot him, one of the police officers that shot him, literally standing over Matthew while he's still alive, and they dragging him on the floor outside while he kicking the unconscious Matthew in the head. You already shot the guy multiple times, and you kicking him in the head, right? And then they drag him, put him in the pickup, took him to the hospital, there where he lost his life, there where he was pronounced to be dead, right? And according to the mother, Lisa Boyd, she said that she was never allowed to see her son until late November, or mid-November, I should say. Her son died mid-October. She was not able to see her son's body until mid-November. And by the time she lay on the body was already black. It was black like charcoal. Imagine, right? So she's saying that she been running after Gregory Coleman and the police people to explain to her, like, what is her son's case? What happened to her son? And nobody have been able to see her since then. I have that problem with Gregory Coleman. Because after Matthew got killed, he put the police people together and went and stand in front of JFK, lighting candle in solidarity of the police people that got wounded in the process of arresting Matthew, right? Okay, the men that got wounded, these are men that swore, they took an oath to protect the lives of Liberians and properties of Liberians, right? And they were doing their job, and they got wounded in the process. They expected to, right? You stay in solidarity with them, lighting candle, fine, it's okay. A little bit too much, a little bit more ceremonious, but it's okay. But they did not die. What about the person that died? The person that got killed, the person that got shot multiple times. He got brutalized while he was laying down in the pool of blood when he was not no threat. The hand was cuffed. Why your police officer kicking him in the head? Those things are on video, clear. No statement have ever been said about any of these people being arrested or being suspended or being sacked from that job, right? And the woman who is the mother of that child, you refuse to meet her. You refuse to talk to her. Do you know what it means for a mother to lose her child, her son? You can't even get a woman the time of the day to even tell her, say, sorry, it was not our intention to unalive your son. We were just trying to protect him and do, but it happened the way it happened. Don't you know that the entire family is grieving? So that is my problem with Mulbah. I mean, not Mulbah Morlu, but Gregory Coleman. His way of policing is becoming very, very toxic. Like, policing is not all about forcing everything. Yeah, that we don't want to get it gone, so let's use it. Right? But we'll come to that. Let's continue again. Mulbah Morlu, what you say?
Were recently held, and the Rotarian playbook is repeating itself. Tanzania's 98% result for one man, Ivory Coast 93% constitutional mockery, etc. Walker and his cycle are watching, learning, and preparing to follow that lead of vote rigging if not stopped. Liberians must.
My man, stop talking about vote rigging. You are talking about something that never happened. President Barker have never rigged any vote ever. And if you think that the past 2022 election was rigged, bring your evidence. You are talking about something that may happen in the future 2029. Is a vote rigged? Yeah, this is, you see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? When I say that Mulbah Morlu like to make, how do you call it, outlandish statements, this is some of the things I'm talking about. What are you talking about? Why are you comparing? Oh, look at the thing that happened in Ivory Coast. The vote was rigged. The one that happened in Tanzania, the vote was rigged. And that the same thing Barker is planning to do. Do you know that the election in 2029 and we stay in 2025? You're talking about vote rigging right now. You have no evidence, no proof, no reason as to whatsoever for you to try to convince anybody that Barker can vote, can rig vote or will rig vote. You have absolutely no reason. Show me one reason. Show me one reason.
Refuse to be fooled. Motorbike riders, keke riders, market women, students, teachers, transport workers, street vendors, and families of victims of police brutality, we salute you. This message is for you. You acted wisely by not letting yourself be used as a crowd for hire. Showing up on December 6th would have meant approving the lie that everything is fine. It would have meant endorsing corruption. It would have meant betraying your own struggle. What we are witnessing today is the new version of the old true weak party oligarchy. The same system that used civil servants' salaries to build the E.G. Roy building. Today's version is no different. They're using state resources to build a political empire. Liberia is not powerless, and the people are not voiceless. This is why December 17 marches. STEM is calling the nation to a massive, peaceful, non-violent demonstration.
Right. So that is it. The entire video is just about, the December 6th fundraising. And I thought he was going to accuse, because he was one of those people that came out and accused the government of planning to use cabinet ministers, government appointees, to raise funds for the construction of their new headquarters. And I say, yeah, according to the Constitution, that is not permissible, right? According to our Constitution, according to our Code of Conduct, the 2014 Code of Conduct to be precise, it is not permissible for a government appointee, a presidential appointee like cabinet ministers and stuff, to participate in political activities like, how they call it, political events and fundraising and all that stuff, right? Yeah, I agree with that. But you are just listening to all these things that he's talking about. He's never mentioned any of these people. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying all of this to tell people that, yeah, his planned December 17 protest is coming. And it is time for people to actually go out and go protest again. I'm just saying, it's your right. Peaceful protesting, as long as it is pretty peaceful, 100%. It's your constitutional right. But at the end of the day, a couple of things that I agree with you here. the Gregory Coleman bad policing, and the president of the Republic of Liberia riding private jets. Those are the two things that you said here in this particular address that I agree with. And if your protest was based on those two things, I would definitely be one of those people that will be supporting that protest and even mobilizing people to join your protest to say that these are things that we should do something about. Do something about Gregory Coleman bad policing, right? We do something about it. And when I say do something, like removing, replacing with somebody else. Because good policing cannot happen unless you start holding police accountable. This guy is not holding nobody accountable. Policemen go out there, they do ridiculous things, they break the law, they do all kinds of. Guess what they do? They are suspended for 1 month without pay, or they are suspended for 1 month with only 50% pay. What kind of nonsense is that? That's not no repercussions. That's not no penalty. So we should do something about the Gregor Coleman issue and the president flying private jet. We should do something about that. That is something worth protesting for. But all the other allegations, they millions of dollars, they take the money from here, they're using it to build their Unity Party headquarters. There is no evidence for those things. Absolutely, bring the evidence forward. You can't just be making outlandish statement claims without any evidence. We're not going to listen to that. People are tired of those things. To say that way that we don't want to let go there to start trying to beat everything, and the people in the jail council will go cause noise. No, without evidence, your protest will be even more dry than it was the last time when it happened. I think it was in June or July, right? It will be drier than that. So bring your evidence forward, or if you cannot have evidence for some of the accusation that you just made, take them out of your theme or your reasons of protesting. Take them out and just remain with the ones that you can how do you call it, prove, the one that got clear evidence that everybody unanimously agree on. Everybody know, unless somebody who just want to be blind, that Gregory Coleman have been playing phone out of the Liberian people 100%. You can't kill the woman's son. Yes, it was in the line of duty, understandable, but the woman's son got killed. It is your responsibility to visit that family, to reconcile with that family, to console that family. The man had no criminal record. He had no criminal record, and you took his life, and not even one time allow for that woman to see you face to face. But yeah, you go put police together in group, you all go stay in front of JFK with candle light standing in the middle of the darkness and say, I'll show you solidarity. That is hypocrisy. That is hypocrisy. You show solidarity to people that are wounded, they're dead, they will live. Woman feeling losing her son's life. They call you guys because the son was getting into problem. They call you as the police to take care of the issue. You came, you unalive the man. And you now get a God to even come back, to apologize, to reconcile, to console, to extend your regards to the family, the grieving people. You keep judging the woman. When the woman comes to you, you tell the woman, say, oh, I'm going to Sierra Leone Monday, so I can't see you today. What the hell is wrong with you? So stuff like that would definitely get real patriotic Liberians on their feet to protest. Stuff like the president riding private jet from one summit to the next, or from one, how they call it, event to the next. Things like that will get patriotic Liberians on their feet to protest. But not accusation like, oh, they're taking $1 million. We are being told, or we are hearing now that $3.2 million was stolen, by the government to be used to construct the Unity Party headquarters throughout the country. What are you talking about? Where is the document? You and who is hearing this, and where are you guys hearing it from? You see what I'm saying? So stuff like that without any evidence, nobody's gonna believe it. Nobody's gonna believe it, and the protest will be dry. The only people that will come outside are CDC, hardcore CDC fanatic, hardcore opposition. The one that not get, they didn't get time whether how they call it. The thing is saying that true or a lie. All they care about, as long as you're going against the government, they consider themselves oppositions, they're standing with you. These are the people that will come outside.